is moving up and down, and that's what. Okay, so the first unit we are looking at is the vision, the philosophy. See, we are talking about teaching geography. And so for that matter, there is a need for us to have an appreciation of and teaching geography. We are not talking about teaching geography in the second university, but focusly, we all know that at the education ladder, there are various points that we start teaching geography as an independent subject. And so then our focus for this course is to have an reorientation of that level and have an appreciation of what we are supposed to do. That's why if you look at, we want to look at the philosophy, the vision, aim, scope of the secondary school geography. Now, we are saying that geography as a subject is studied at all various levels of Ghana's education system. You know, mostly at the basic level, currently, geography is seen in our world and our people. And the junior high school, geography is manifested in social studies. That's why if you look at the standard base, in fact, most of the courses or topics in there reflect geography related, be it cultural geography, human geography, regional, practical, or even the economic aspect. Likewise, if you look at even the secondary school, at the secondary school level, it is an elective subject in the General Act program. So that is where it is an elective subject and we teach it as an independent subject, unlike the basic level, which is added to social studies and our world and our people. And in fact, if you check the senior high school social studies subject, about 80% of it is geography. I don't know if someone have come across that. I remember one of my students who is at Okiapimai called me there. The standard base, when they started, the first course was to identify the geographic features of reliefs in Africa. And I said, this is purely geography. How is it in the social studies? Yeah, Samopoku, your hand is up. Sammy, let me hear you. Samuel, it is Poku.
Yeah, yes, sir. My mic was not on.
Oh, okay.
Please, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Geographical sketch of Africa.
That was the first topic, a geographical sketch of Africa.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can imagine, how can someone doing social studies? So if you go to Winnipeg and go and do Winnipeg social studies, you find yourself wanting because theirs is more of thematic approach. When we say thematic approach, it's more of about themes, issues based. So like environment issues, problem, community, those kind of things, instead of being integrative like that of UCC, social studies, which is more of integrative and geography bias. So if you find yourself in a Winnipeg, you could see that you have a huge problem. So
Please,
what I'm
sir,
trying
why is it so? Why is it so? It's supposed not to be so. So why is it so?
oh, but these are two different universities and their own philosophies and what they want to achieve. So you cannot say why is this so for even the currently even the whole colleges of education that they distributed among the 5 or 4 universities. The curriculum some of them are using is different from what UCC is using. But at the end of the day, they are all going to train. They are going to teach kids at the basic level. So that one you cannot say that why is Winneba doing? In fact, though it's true that it's UCC who nurtured you Winneba when uh, Rollins wanted to start the university. So, but it get to a point, and your children can become your rival. Until that's what it is. So, at the tertiary level, too, geography is studied as an independent subject, either at a program called BA Geography, BSc Geography, or even the BEd Geography program. Then at the master's level, you can also study geography either at a MA Geography or a 2-year MPhil in Geography. Then you can also do what we call MPhil Geography Regional Planning at UCC. UCC have MPhil Geography, MA Geography, MPhil Geography Regional Planning. Then when you go to Lagos, we have MPhil Geography and Resource Development. When you go to Lagos Tech, we have MPhil Geography and Rural Development. You see, so you can, with this program you are doing, then you can do any of these masters if you so wish. I think currently, Winneba also have MPhil Geography Education. Yes. Then currently that of UCC own. I'm almost through with the program development. Uh, it must to go through GTEC for scrutiny and approval before we can bring on stream MEd Geography Education and MPhil Geography Education. Mhm. I have the document. I am developing it, and I am here to.
So, doctor, please, you've not started it yet.
No, we have not started it yet.
Okay. So, what's the
Uh,
difference between the MA and the MPhil?
the MA is a year program, and it is not so rigorous as compared to the MPhil. The MA, is dissertation, and it's MA basically, most of them are coursework. You don't do dissertation, but some too may do dissertation, which is about 80 page. The maximum is about 80 page. And mostly you just have one supervisor. Because normally MA, MEd courses are taught courses. Means that you don't do much of research, rigorous theory like you do for MPhil is Master of Philosophy. So that one you have to do a research, defend it, go through assessment. The MA, MEd, defend. Some of them you don't even do any dissertation. They are basically taught courses. But if you want to be in academia, like college or university level, you have to go in for MPhil. You can't do MA. Uh, so that's the difference.
Okay,
Then at the
okay.
PhD level, it's a 3-year or 4-year PhD program in geography with specialization. So these are the various levels that geography are delivered. But for the purposes of our discussion today, we are focusing on the senior high school because that is where our immediate training will see us before we progress to the next level. So the next one is to look at the philosophy of geography. And here we are talking about the philosophy of the standard-based geography, the new standard-based geography curriculum. That's what we want to pay attention to. Now, when we talk of looking at the new standard-based curriculum, especially the geography, you see that now they try to move from the objective-based analysis or teaching to what we call a learner-centered or an activity-based uh, learning or geography. So the philosophy of the senior high school new geography is that all learners can be supported to develop their potential, their full potential in the geographical skills of space-time and human environment interrelationship, build on contemporary and emerging technologies and competencies for further studies, the world of work and adult life. So look at it. all learners can be supported. And that is why if you look at the standard base, there is a key concept in there, what to call differentiated what learning, or keynote of differentiation. That means that irrespective of the learning abilities of the learner, as a facilitator, you have a responsibility to help that learner to also develop his full potential when it comes to geographical skills, knowledge, and experiences. So you don't only go by those who are responding to you in class, but you also have a role to play in others who are having different learning abilities. For example, people who are introverts, people who are slow learners, who also have to take time to grasp certain concepts. And when you also look at it, one of the key things also have to do with the development of learners with competencies. Well, now we are talking about the integration of 21st century skills. Now we are talking about gender equality and social inclusion, what we call the Gen Z. Then we are talking about issues of equality, so where we have a mixed ability groups, and all these things are reflected where we are talking about even multiculturalism for learners to be global citizens. And that's why I say to build on contemporary and emerging technologies. So you see that the sites use projectors, use remote sensing, the GIS, those things as your resources. These are all modern and emerging technologies which are very essential for geographers to be able to grasp. And that is the philosophy of geography as you see it here. Then the vision of geography is also that learners equipped with 21st century skills and competencies in critical thinking and spatial analysis of the earth's physical and human patterns and processes to be interdisciplinary innovators, so that learners to be interdisciplinary innovators, advance new world-changing discoveries in geospatial science and the interrelationship between the natural and built environment. So I think I've talked about this thing. So that's the vision for. So that should tell you that anybody wants to find yourself in the senior high school, you need these understanding experiences. So we'll be looking at some of these resources, and in method of teaching, we'll be looking at some of the 21st century skills teachers needs to develop in method of teaching. We'll also be looking at what we mean by a 21st century geography teacher. Who are you? What are your qualities? What are your roles? So that you'll be able to fit in the system where all these things needs to be applied. You get okay. Then in terms of the goal, that is to equip the SHS geography learners with relevant knowledge, skills, and competencies that will enable them to make sense of spatial phenomena and processes in their localities and the wider world, as well as exhibit 21st century skills and Gen Z in their social interaction. So the Gen Z means gender equality and social inclusion, so that as you interact with various people of various walks of life, you'll be able to appreciate their gender and its related characteristics and how to live and relate with them. So the rationale for senior high school geography. One is to explore the past, current, and possible future events and phenomena on the Earth's surface, thereby placing learners to be part of a generation that can deal effectively with and mitigate global challenges whilst maximizing related opportunities. You have done Earth science, eh?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
do any concept called uniformitarianism?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Noted.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. And what did they say as uniformitarianism? The key underlying concept is that is what? But Stephen, the person is not recording. Oh. I don't know whether it will be the next week that they will, tomorrow that they record. Because whatever we are discussing is not being recorded.
I think it has gone already.
Pardon? Stephen, I didn't hear you. What were you saying? Okay, someone said the
Sir,
concept is
sir, please, I
uh-huh.
think it's being recorded. It's being recorded.
Oh, is that the case?
Yes, yes.
Maybe now they are using a different name because okay, we call it. At first, okay. Thank you. Yeah, so I asked of the uniformitarianism concept, the concept of uniformitarianism. Okay, someone has provided some. Let's see what he's saying. Is the idea that the Earth's geological features are shaped by a continuous, slow process that have happened over a long period, over a long time. Okay. Any other? Thank you, Oseko, for. Yes, Sammy. The formation of landforms through a gradual process over a long. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So when we talk the uniformitarianism, what it's trying to tell you that the key underlying concept is that whatever landform or an event or an occurrence you are seeing today do not just suddenly occur today, but whatever occurrence or event or landform that you are studying today has its formational basis from yesterday, from the past. So, in order to appreciate the current state of today, you need to appreciate the past, what has process that has gone on that has led to the current state. So, whatever the uniformitarianism concept is trying to tell you that whatever happened today, whatever landform you are seeing, it doesn't just occur suddenly. It has been triggered by certain actions and processes within the past. And that's why we are saying that the past or the future or this thing is have a relation with the past. And so by looking at the past, we'll be able to predict what is currently happening. It's just like when someone tells you that, oh, there's an earthquake has occurred, which is a sudden occurrence. You cannot just look at that very day that you must go back into the past to appreciate what activities has been taking place within the area that it has occurred. Because appreciation of the past events will give you an understanding of the magnitude of the occurrence of today. That's why I say that the present is always best appreciated as you relate it to the past. So that is the so what we are trying to say is that in geography, learners must explore the past, current, in order to be able to make a predictions like what we were talking about, the model that I used to make predictions about events and phenomena, so that we'll be able to appreciate the global challenges we have in. So some of the global challenges we are talking about now, we are talking about mining as a global issue. We are talking about climate change as a global issue. We are talking about issues of our seawater problems, which is now causing a lot of sea fish to die. And so now we are talking about one of the mitigation factors, we are talking about blue economy. You see, and when we talk of blue economy, it's more about, and then we are talking about green economy or green growth. These are all strategies to mitigate some of these global challenges. And as a geography, learners must be equipped with all these things to help mitigate these global challenges. It is also to provide learners with the opportunity to be systematic inquiries by stimulating critical thinking, involving asking questions about spatial phenomena, gathering, evaluating, and interpreting geospatial data, and communicating information to help guide decision making. I know we all know that geographers, one of our basic tool of observation of investigation is observation. and the environment is the geographer's laboratory. The biggest laboratory of the geographer is the environment. Our basic laboratory is the environment. So that's why, as a geographer, you cannot sit in your room and say you are investigating. You must go to the field, observe it, explore it, describe it. In your attempt to offer explanation, you must also gather information from the field and be able to analyze it to appreciate what has led to that situation and what, so that you can address the 5 questions of a geographer: what, where, how, when, and why. I believe you are aware of that. Okay, so the next one is
Yes,
to also
please.
develop learners' critical thinking, problem solving, and graphical skills for development at the personal, local, and global levels to enable them to make a living in the future. Yeah. You see, one of the problems we are facing as a nation is because of our low level of technical know-how, which has resulted for a lot of resources that we have untapped, and the ones that are being tapped to is being dominated by multinationals. But where learners have a thorough understanding of their environment, what entails in their environment, the resources, the natural things, and with the knowledge and the skills of technical know of how to deal with it, we will not need international partners to come and drill our oil. And we are having our oil, they will give us peanuts like 10% or 50%, and they will take all the greater share. That will not make sense. That will not export our cocoa to the foreign market. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, we say we submit about 70% of the world's cocoa. Then when they do the chocolate and those, they say they get billions of dollars profit, and they give both of us only 4%, 4% of the profits they obtain from the cocoa they use to produce. Then the producing company only retain about 96%. If we have the technical know-how and the processing plant in our country, why can't we process and produce our own chocolate and send it into the world market, and they will give us 4% of billions of dollars profit, and they will take 96%. So you see, when we have critical knowledge and we develop our learners' critical thinking ability, problem solving, and graphical skills, we will be able to deal with these local problems, global issues, and also take advantage to make a living for the future. Yes, the current government, as a result of these gold issues, now cocoa issues, they are now to say that they have met all the cocoa processing companies to see if 50% of the cocoa can be processed locally. But they should not be only be processing, but to the extent of even producing product from it, be it chocolate, like what people are doing. This the people are, and I know a company that are producing cocoa drink, cocoa powder, and all these things. These are from cocoa. We should encourage that in more industry in Ghana. Like this man, is it Miss Chocolate? And I said the despite me, anyway, I forgot. Is it Miss something something?
This way, chocolate way.
Wait.
Yeah, this way. At first, I was thinking about, now it's too sugary, so I've stopped. Now it's there
Exactly.
at the point they reduce the cocoa content and increase the sugar level. So I stopped.
Yeah, it's true.
Kanama, when they are doing things and you are like and you are applauding, then they become to food. You see.
Because it's now a lot of people are buying it. They want the quantity, and then they leave out the quality.
Also to enhance learner digital and information literacy for effective organization and utilization of space, thereby exposing learners to the policies and principles underlying land use practices and resources exploitation and utilization of socioeconomic what development. Now, digital literacy has been one of the key corners of the standard base, which teachers are expected to also equip themselves. So, as a teacher, please, at least the basic ones you should be able to. I went for a teaching practice at Chimota Senior High, and the one of the students I went to supervise. Could you imagine that the common projector she cannot manipulate? I said, hey, in this 21st century, as a teacher, at least a projector, these are basic things that you should be able to manipulate, to switch on, to connect with your laptop and show videos. Because you see, research has shown that learners, majority of learners, really get the concept when they are exposed them to visuals than theoretical speeches. So at least as a teacher, you must also abreast with yourself with some of these digital materials, at least the basic ones. The technical ones, if you cannot, it's no problem because you can have resource persons to handle. But the basic ones that you can also utilize, you must be able to, because the students are supposed to enhance their digital and literacy, information literacy skills to be able to utilize some of these basic things. So in my class, right from level 100, you will be doing, you take one quiz, your next form of assessment will be presentations. And I look at your presentations, I have pointers, how you stand. I even look at how you stand when you are presenting to audience, how to hold a pointer to direct, how to respond to questions when they ask you questions, and how to do a teamwork. When I give you a topic, how are other people also given opportunity to present? I look at the quality of your slides, the pictures and the videos, at what point you set in setting. And that alone has even helped about 3 of my students to call back to thank me. One of my students came for recommendation for masters outside. Now the lady is working at PURC, Fauzia Tanko. I was there one day. I was video crowd that day, and I saw a mobile money of 300 cedis, and I didn't know the person. I said, who could send me this money? I went to WhatsApp and I saw she had sent a message. So I'm your student who gave you that you give me the recommendation and that. Now, so can I have your picture because I don't remember you? So he sent the picture and realized that yes, he was my student, but I didn't know the name. He wasn't a friend. So so I called them and said, oh, I saw some money and I want to thank you because Charlie, in this life, will be more one city cry. You have to bless the person because for the person to think that, oh, say, take one city, it's a great honor. So me, I don't joke with those things. If you say because you are a doctor and a student is giving you one city for what you have done, and you say, oh, I don't need your money, it's not a good signal. I'm not also saying by that saying that they are extorting money from students. No. Oh, yes, I'll call. So I said, but you are not the one that said, oh, I'm the one you gave me, but I didn't even go for the master's program. I had opportunity at a PURC head office, and as part of our orientation, like employment process, we were given some work to do and come and present. And in fact, the present when after that we did the slide, the presentation were about 5 or 6 for that day. And the way I did the presentation, even how I was holding the pointer and those things, and that gave me an edge over the colleagues. Because say some of the colleagues, they will even use the pointer to go to the next slide. Then they hold the pointer with their left, and they are using their hand to stretch things on the slide, MCC. So you go to a meeting or something, they give you 10 minutes, do a presentation, tell us. So he said that alone helped her to secure the job. So a first degree BS geography student is now working with PURC head office. And he has also gotten scholarship to do a straight away PhD with UCC on petroleum and oil and gas. So when he came around, I wasn't there. He said that and she told me that he's very grateful for the presentation stress that I made them go through. In fact, it has been really helpful to her. though she was not close to me. Maybe when you are my student, I may not know the name, but I see the face and I know that you are my student. So these are things that we need to equip our students with so that they'll be able to also navigate through this 21st century and some of the changes that are coming with how things are being done. So these days, it's not about your first degree, no, it's not about your first class, second class. It's about your teamwork spirit, your ability to handle yourself in a way that you may appear someone who is very valued, ethical, and well cultured and team player as well. Anyway, so the senior high school geography curriculum also provides learners with opportunity to increase their understanding and application of knowledge and skills for solving human and environment challenges of the 21st century. It is also designed to meet the current and future needs of learners with different learning abilities. And I've mentioned already the concept of keynote of differentiated, what we say differentiated learning, which is very critical. Then we have, it is also to incorporate the current and emerging technologies and applications for space-time analysis. So some of these for space-time, we are talking about remote sensing, GIS, flying drones, GPS. These are all emerging. Then the world of work and adults. So these are all rationale for the new geography. So as a teacher that you want to, I know some of you are already teaching there and those who are also yet to go there. These are things that are stipulated in the standard-based curriculum that you should have a knowledge of and how to navigate yourself through as you try to get to the place. Now let's look at the scope. Having looked at the philosophy, vision, and let's look at the scope and sequence of Ghana's senior high school geography. Now, the introduction of the standard-based curriculum was a major reform from, okay, thank you. So Augustine Mafu is saying that some of you are teaching digital literacy as a course. Augustine Mafu, is it as a course?
So, I'm just trying to say that even when you go to the colleges, some of the teachers who handle whether information literacy or digital literacy are not 21st century teachers. So they fumble when they take such courses.
You see, at times you cannot blame them. You see, that's the problem I have with our country. Whenever you are coming out with a new curriculum, it must be accompanied with its relevant infrastructure changes, resource-wise and facility. You are saying someone should teach information literacy or digital literacy, computing. There's no lab. There's no current 21st century resources and all those things. Even a lot of schools don't have geography room. Some of you in the secondary school, how many of the secondary schools have a geography room where these drones and these resources we are talking about can be kept for geography analysis and labs? So you see, we are in a country that we are in a haste to develop nice curriculums, put it somewhere that they should implement. But we do not use the same haste to provide the needed resources and facilities and infrastructure. So at the end of the day, we end up having a nice curriculum reforms, but it becomes toothless. See, because it does not really, at the end of the day, what is stipulated are not achieved because we fail to provide the needed resources, be it the infrastructure resources, the material resources, and logistical resources to make sure that the program work effectively. That's a problem. So the college level crowd they don't have. How can the person orient himself to teach it? It's one thing if they have and they are not. Okay. And you cannot tell a teacher to use his money to go and buy drone to come and or use his money to go and build a geography room. Yeah, Mafu, continue.
I remember when I was in college, level 100, we went for this scholarship interview. I was the first person. It was actually my first time of going for this research interview. I went to meet this, I think he was a minister, no, an MP. As one of the Accra, I don't want to mention the constituency. I went in and he himself can't even operate the laptop given. So I was shocked that how can such a prominent person can't even operate a tablet? Meanwhile, he was appointed to oversee the interview, the proceedings. So this thing, I think it should cut across from the ministers, the MPs, and through to the classrooms. And the government to also think about how to equip teachers with these modern technologies.
Marfo, is the MP teaching in the classroom?
No, but he can't even operate the laptop.
No, sir, that we are talking about learners in the classroom. You, the teacher, imparting, transferring, guiding learners to develop a skill. MP there, or parliament, one or personal assistant, or the dear man. Until as for MP there, leave their matter for them. Let's talk about ourselves. The minister has a personal assistant and others. Yeah, Aqua.
Hello, sir. Yeah.
Yes, please.
I think Augustine, sorry to say, he's getting it all wrong because
No.
it shouldn't be about. It shouldn't be about.
Aqua. In my
Boss.
class, we don't use the word "you are getting it all wrong." Go ahead with your
Sir,
submission
thank you.
and say that I believe that.
Okay.
To make your point, don't use that word. So withdraw.
Okay, I withdraw. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is, it shouldn't be about saying those teaching those who don't have knowledge in this modern technologies, operating the ICT tools and things, are not 21st century teachers. We have some
Please,
of the OGs who are well equipped.
Aqua,
Say,
you did not listen to him well. What he said is that in the college, the teachers who were teaching digital literacy and information literacy, they themselves, they were teaching the thing, but they could not know how to even manipulate these resources. He did not say that they are not in 21st century. And I came in by saying that some of them people, they don't have the resources. For example, he said someone should do computing, they don't have the lab. So he didn't say that they are not in 21st century people.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Augustine, sorry, and to the class too. And I believe upgrade ourselves. That's why we have CPD, because you have some of our colleagues who are in the 21st century, but they are also not well abreast with these ICT tools.
Okay. What is the CPD?
Continuous professional development.
Okay. Isaac, are you somewhere?
No, please.
Because at times I hear like a motor passing by your end.
I'm in the room.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the contribution too. So the new standard base is a learner-centered curriculum that aims to promote Ghanaian values, integrate 21st century skills and competencies, and enhance a balanced approach to assessment. Hence, you know that originally the geography content was traditionally organized into 5 familiar divisions like physical geography, human geography, and practical geography. You remember in the old syllabus, which basically emphasizes topic coverage and instructional objectives. And so most of the times, the focus has more or less been what teachers are expected to teach the learners rather than what learners were demonstrably able to do at the end of the instruction. And that is the reform that came in to switch from that angle to the standard-based curriculum. that we have currently. So now, currently, when you look at the new official standard geography curriculum, which is a 3-year standard-based program, is organized around 3 central strands that run through each year. And now, those times that we have physical geography, now it has been turned into strands, which the strands one look at the earth and its neighborhood, which the earth and its neighborhood basically reflects topics in the physical geography that we used to have in the old one. So you could talk like earth structure, rocks, soil, atmosphere, among others. Then the second one, we have the navigating our environment, which used to be what we call the practical or the map work. Then we have that of the, so which include the map skill, geospatial data collection, interpretation, cartography, geospatial techniques, among others. Then we have the human environment, which used to be the human geography, which also deals with these human settlements, economic activities, environmental degradation, hazard, and that of. So now when you are talking about the standard base, you rather be talking about the strands, which is the earth and its neighborhood, navigating our environment, a human environment, rather than physical geography, human geography, and that of the. That's if you are talking about the standard base, that's what you have to talk about. So now geography is treated as a holistic discipline rather than the 3 isolated branches, signaling an important change from topic listening to competency-driven learning. So now this is so each strand is divided into sub-strands, which are introduced in year 1, developed in year 2, and consolidated and extended in year 3. So that should tell you that in year 1, year 2, year 3, all has been developed based on the strands. The earth and its neighborhood, navigating the environment, then human and environment as well. So for example, year 1 introduced the learners to basic skills and concepts. So for example, we can talk about map environment, map elements, basic rock types, simple weather observation, introduction to spatial data collection like basic compass, map, GPS awareness. Now, when you go to year 2, then we build upon that of the year 1. And now what to look at map analysis, where you look at scale, contours, and among other enlargement and those things. Then we have soil and mass wasting process, more systematic field data collection and thematic mapping. You see, then once you go in year 3, we now build and apply the skills and knowledge to solve real world problems. So instead of now, we are no more going to know using the knowledge of the map element and map analysis to do spatial analysis using, let's say, data set, interpreting satellite imagery, assessing environmental hazards, and integrated project and field investigation to solve problems. So this is how the whole standard base has been shaped or structured. Because take note, we are looking at the scope. Are you following the picture? So this is how now the scope of the standard-based geography curriculum is. So that's why before the year 1 ended, they brought the year 2 book, and I know that very soon the year 3 will also come. I don't know, those of you are there, is it already in or they are yet to? Is it already in or they are yet to bring it? Okay. So when you look at the diagram here, which talk about the sequence, the scope and sequence. So you could see that we have the strand, the earth and its neighborhood, navigating the environment, human and environment, and we have the substrands of each of them. Then you see the year 1, year 2, and year 3. And each of them have their content standard that must be achieved. Okay, Isaac, your hand is up. Aqua. Okay. So we have year 1. We have the content standards, the learning outcomes and indicators you must achieve. We have year 2, the same content standard, learning outcomes and learning indicators. When you see CS, it's content standard. LO, learning outcomes. LI, learning indicator. Then the same thing for the year 3. Are you getting it? So this is now how the whole new standard geography has been structured or sequenced. And this is the structure. When we talk of the scope and sequence, this is how it's now looked at. So those of you who want to find yourself there, this is the time you must abreast yourself with these, understanding the nuances of the new standard base so that you'll be able to find yourself. I know you'll be doing off-campus teaching practice. So those who want to find yourself teaching there, I think this one will give you some jits of it to do further reading in the area. So you see, there's the scope and sequence of the geography also reveals a transformation from the instructional objective to content standard, the CS, learning outcomes, and that of the learning indicators. So in the standard base, the strand and substrand is now defined by what content must be addressed in the content standard. What knowledge, skill, attitude, and expertise learners must achieve by the end of a lesson or unit. Then we are also interested in the observable evidence of the achievement. If you have achieved this at the end, skill, knowledge, and that's the learning outcome, the question is, how do we see this in manifestation of your life? There should be evidence of it, and that's the learning indicator. So are you getting the difference between learning indicator? When we get to the learner planning method, we'll look at some of these things. So this represents a shift towards learner performance, measurable competencies, and assignment alignment. That's why I was happy that these people were not supposed to write WASI, because the nature of this curriculum, it doesn't warrant WASI. But unfortunately, those who designed quickly also rushed to change the focus for them to write WASI. WASI only assesses your cognitive. It doesn't assess much of your affective and psychomotor skill. You see, that's why I have a little challenge with the whole thing, the way it has been implemented and the way it's being manifested. You see, so these are the scope of and the sequence of the subject standard base. So it quantifies expectation by explicitly stating the number of content standards, the number of learning outcomes, and learning indicators per a year that students must go through. So for example, year 1, there's a total 13 content standards, 30 learning outcomes, and 29 learning indicators that the learner must be able to achieve. When you go to the year 2, we have total 10 content standards, 10 learning outcomes, and 24 learning indicators. And the year 3, we have 10 contents, 10 learning outcomes, and 26 learning indicators. So overall, the totals for the senior high school standard-based curriculum from SHS 1 to 3, they have 33 content standards, 33 learning outcomes, and 79 learning indicators. So if you look at the table I showed you, you could see that all these numbers are in there, and that gives you a reflection of what must be done or be seen as well. Any question on that before we go to the global scope of geography? This one is for Ghana, the standard base, because we're in finance, that's why we need to. So any question on this before we go on the global scale? And those of you, this one, last year group, they were not having this information in their slide. So if you have their slides, please don't be fixated on that, because some of the things have changed. In fact, there are a number of things have changed from their course. So when you get this one, pay attention to it. Okay. Okay, so your silence suggests that we can make progress. Is that also? Or anyone with a question? Okay, thank you. Atanga, let me hear you.
Yes, good morning, Doc. Please, I am aware of your lecture that means that this particular curriculum demands that teachers should facilitate instead of teaching.
Yes, please.
I want to know what exactly is the difference between the two approaches.
So what exactly?
What exactly is the difference between teaching and facilitating?
Okay. Anyone to attempt at Lucas wants to know the difference between teacher teaching and facilitating. What's the difference? Anyone to attend before I come in? Because I know all of us we are some of you are teaching, so you should be able to attend. Yeah, thank you for go ahead.
What are knowledge? So a facilitator learners during teaching and learning. So you just guide them in what
Yeah,
to do.
Osakufo,
Doctor,
your hand was up. So I said you can go ahead.
yes, I'm not.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so as I was saying, a facilitator guides learners during teaching and learning processes, and you are just to direct them what to learn. So you are just a guide. You are guiding learners, but a teacher provides knowledge. It's more of lecturing. You go to class and then you tell them this is that, this is that. You just lecture, tell them what to do, and then you are done with it. But as a facilitator, you guide them in whatever they have to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other? The name I see is counselor. I don't know whether it's a counselor Lutrot or counselor. Which of the counselors?
Yes, please. My point
Hey,
of view,
are you suggesting that you are
the
counselor Lutrot? I say which of the counselors?
I'm not any of them.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But my point of view is that in simple terms, um, the other one is teacher centered, while the facilitator is learner centered.
Okay.
And that's
Thank
simple
you.
terms I want to put it.
Okay.
Okay.
Peter, take over from the counselor.
In my point of view, I would say teacher typically leads, instructs, and imparts knowledge directly. But for the facilitator, he guides, supports, and encourages learning through interactions. And in a nutshell, I would say a teacher often tells why a facilitator acts. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much for the contributions. Okay, I think all the things I've said that are in line. So let me give a practical example to differentiate. I'm a teacher. I'm going to talk about maybe formation of rocks. A teacher who is to teach will come. Hey, Aqua. Okay. That's why I was asking whether your background, you have a road that a car or motor has been moving. You said you are in the room. I don't know whether your room has your room is closer to a road. Okay. So if I, for example, I have a topic, formation of rocks and the types, a teacher who is teaching will come to class and introduce the lesson by either asking, have you heard of rocks before? Yes, sir. No, sir. Some will share their knowledge of what rocks is. Then the teacher will go ahead to tell you what rock is. The teacher will go ahead to give you the formation of the rock. It can even use charts to show some of the pictures. The teacher, so more or less like the teacher do a number of the research and come and do the teaching, deliver the knowledge to you. So the teacher will do most of the things, though the students will be involved to ask questions and also respond to questions. But when you say teacher is facilitating the same topic of rock, one of the things the teacher will do is that the teacher will rather project a video. You, the learner, will watch the video of the rock formation. You watch it, then after, the teacher will ask you questions of what you saw. Then as you bring these responses, then the teacher will ask another question for you to connect the video to bring out the definition of rocks and how they are formed. Then once you do that, you, the learner, bring out the meaning of rocks, the formation, without the teacher telling you. The teacher will come in to shape some area that were necessary. So the teacher will not now come and give you what is rocks, what is formation. So that's why in facilitating, you don't provide knowledge, you provide guidelines. But in teaching, you, the teacher, provide the knowledge. Or the teacher can take you to any field for the student to observe a rock in an area. Ask the student to take note of them. When they come to class, they will just bring their knowledge together. Either they work in groups and make a presentation of the things they observe and the characteristics, and to define based on what they observe, the student will bring out what they mean by rock and the things they saw in the environment and connect them to tell you the formation. That is what we mean by a teacher facilitating. So the one who asked the question, I don't know if we have been able to help you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay,
you very much.
you are welcome. So we are looking at the global scope and content of the school geography. Globally, geography curriculum are structured in two main ways. We have what we call the regional analysis approach and that of the thematic studies approach. When we talk of the just a minute here. So when we talk about the regional studies approach, this is an approach which is characterized by understanding the formation and features of regions and focuses on how and why areas are different from each other. So you remember when we were talking about nature of geography, we talk about the concept of a region, where we said a region is an area which has some characteristics or features that are common to that area. And those characteristics or features makes the area unique or different from other areas. So anytime you hear a regional studies, then it goes to the fact of how people must appreciate the formation and characteristics of one region and what how and why these areas possesses those characteristics that makes it different from other areas. So within the regional studies, there are lots of branches. We have the regional studies, regional analysis, regional development, regional planning, including areas and community planning. So you will be doing a course, regional analysis and development planning, as part of your program. Then you will know the difference between regional analysis, regional planning, and planning regions, regional development, among others. It emphasizes the interaction of humankind with the environments within its local, regional, national, and global setting. So in this regional studies approach, it enables the learner to have an appreciation why a country seems to have certain characteristics, development that other countries do not have. Because we try also to do comparison. So through regional studies approach, we're able to appreciate why developed countries are referred to developed countries, what they have, vis-a-vis underdeveloped or developing countries. So it gives learners the ability, the knowledge, and the experience to also analyze local issues, regional issues, national issues, and global issues as well, by the knowledge of regional studies analysis. You see. Now, let's look at principles for selection of issues and areas for regional studies. What we are saying is that in regional studies analysis, whenever you are selecting areas or content for that, experts must be guided by these principles. The first principle is what we call the decentrism principle. Now, the decentrism principle stipulates that regions should not be chosen in such a way that there is over concentration of content materials on national or home continent issues. What we are trying to say that at least it should not only about your home issues again and only, because now we live in a global space where now we are saying a global village, and whatever is happening in one country obviously have an effect on your country. And for that matter, in making sure that to have a global perspective, don't forget that we have talked about the home, local, regional, national, and global. So this principle tells you that in every regional studies that you engage, you must not only be interested in content that only borders on your home or your national alone, but also around the globe. Now, we are being told that Russia-Ukraine war has an effect on Ghana because we import things from there. When COVID-19 came way back in China, Ghana is far away from China. We never expected, but with a twinkling of an eye, COVID-19 was in Ghana. So all these things tells you that no one is an island of its own. We need each other, and for that matter, in decentrism, we need to have a global mindset, understanding. That's why I see, as a geography teacher, you must also pay attention with all the things happening around the globe. I asked my left handed, have you been following the Russia-Ukraine argument? Have you been following the Venezuela-Trump issue? Have you been following the Israel-Gaza? And it's like, all they know is about TikTok, Facebook. They don't listen to me. Let me say, wait, how can you be a geography teacher or a geographer and you don't pay attention to these things? In your teaching, how can you cite these examples? Because some of these learners, they must be global citizens. They should have a global mindset. So you, the teacher yourself, must really address yourself in order to also use those experiences to help your learners. Then we have the motivation. So regions should be selected to take account of student interests and the actuality of current issues. And one of the things that can be helped to take into account student interest is to make sure that whatever regional issues that you are discussing, you must contextualize it and relate it to their home environment, relate it to their real life situation so that they can relate to it. So that while they relate to it, then you can use that as a foundation to snowball them into the regional, the national, to that of the globe. If possible, the globe one, you can also go ahead to use videos, let them watch videos of what is happening around the globe, what is happening around, let them watch it. Some even listening to news. Hey, have you heard of Russia-Ukraine war? Say yes. And what is it about? Let them share their views. And so that, and even show them to whip their interest in the area of the subject so that they can also really come to terms, so that it doesn't become more of abstract concepts or abstract things that you are providing to them. Hey, Counselor, your hand is up. Is this an old hand or a new hand? Counselor? Okay,
Sorry,
thank
sir.
you.
It is the good one. Okay.
Okay. Then we have balance of skill. That regions should be selected to include a divergent range of learning experiences from local to what? Global. So if you do not have these divergent experiences as a teacher, if you have not abreast yourself with the global issues, some of the even teachers are in Ghana. They don't even know what the geographical happenings in Ghana. Are you currently aware that now EPA is now decemicalizing some of the rivers that have been destroyed by mining Galamsey people? Are you aware? So the question is, what do we mean by that? How does your learners appreciate these things? So you must be aware of even the things that are happening that borders on geography, and utilize those experiences to help your learners. Okay. Sorry. I don't like dust. So you see, when dust gets into me, I suffer. I'm sneezing a lot, pulling out a lot of. Anyway. Then we have diversity. That regions should be selected to include a selection of contrasting places, various physical environments, different human activities, cultures, socioeconomic systems, and stages of development and sustainability across various areas. Are you getting it? So that is why, as a teacher, you must not only be interested in what is happening in your area. At times, you are even been interested in what is happening in other areas, regions, jurisdictions, different cultures, among others. So that when you are explaining things, you have a better appreciation of what is happening. You know that recently, one of the ladies who have gone to do the transgender, who went to cut his one of his sensitive parts to become a female, was a male. The person has died though. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yes. You see, the truth of the
Yes.
matter is that you can't cheat nature. You can't be God. God has created you as a man, and you say you don't like it. And when she did that, she was going around granting a lot of interviews, and he was happy and all those things. Now she's dead. A man who has turned himself to female, transgender. Well, because you cannot cheat nature. I saw it TikTok and I've read it several times. I mean, these are things that when I used to educate people on that. You see, you can't cheat nature. Your body is the temple of God or Allah. So if you don't like it, just tell your maker, I don't like my body. Come and take me home. But don't end up diluting the body. If you dilute the body, you go with punishment. And then no matter the prayers they will offer you, God will not accept. See? And now when you go to USA, there are a lot of these handicaps, a lot of these disability there. Yeah, a guy who turned himself to transgender. Maybe I'll look for the TikTok, the video, and I'll forward it to your class captain to send it to you to listen to his confession. And when he went to do those things, I'll look for it and forward it to you. Okay. Then relevance. Regions should be selected to provide studies which are relevant to public, vocational, and private life of students. In fact, a lot of things stated in the standard-based curriculum is relevant for Ghana, it's relevant for the era we are in, and it's also relevant for the industrialization drive we want to achieve. If only we can work and supply all its related things that will help the program succeed, it is relevant. So in talking about relevance, we are saying that regions should be selected to provide studies which are relevant to the public, your vocation, and your private life as a student. And lastly, responsibility. That's regions should be selected to enable students to recognize and accept their responsibility for action at a range of all skills. You see, we are not only teaching students for knowledge sake, for understanding sake, but they must also have that sense of responsibility towards the environment, towards their behavior towards the environment. People will just shit and throw the shit anyhow. People will just be dumping refuse anyhow. People will just be throwing rubbish into gutters when it is raining, all because they want the rain will take them. All these things are behaviors and attitude that do not bring that sense of good, environmental friendly person. Why I say, Crispin, are you there? Or is he a victim of that? Amwan, why are you mentioning Crispin's name as if he's part of those who have been doing that? Anyway.
Chris, Chris, he's a pastor. Chris is a pastor. I'm not sure he can do that.
Oh, okay. The moment I said that, then you must send some message. So now I wanted to get a clarification whether he. Then the other aspect is the thematic studies approach. And here it is where every theme or topic that is selected or that is learned is linked to one or more special contexts. Since geography as an academic discipline deals with space and place. So based on that, we have categorization of thematic. We have what we call the system approach, the systematic approach, issue-based and systems approach. And when we talk of systematic approach, it's a study of specific natural and human phenomena that gives rise to certain spatial patterns and structures on the surface of the earth. I know this basically falls within the area of physical geography. And that's why I say that it has 4 main branches where we can talk of physical geography, biogeography, including environmental geography, human geography, and geographical methods and techniques. Geographical methods and techniques. So these are all things that systematic approach to geography focuses on. Then when you talk of that of the issues based, the issues based also reflects the study of relevant, current, or contemporary issues and problems emanating from geographical perspective. So the question is, as a teacher, if you are not current, how will you be able to reflect some of these issues-based analysis? So we talk about current issues or contemporary issues in development, environmental perception, ethnicity and race, population, energy and environment, sexuality and space, climate change and food security. Currently, Presby University, they have a short course program that they have asked me to develop some short courses for them to run. So I'm considering developing a certificate course in climate change, education, and sustainability. Climate change, education, and sustainability. I don't know whether you think it's a good course. I have to a certificate course for 3 weeks.
So that's a good course. And I've been seeing the other ones on your stats.
So I'm thinking of that. I know my PhD too was on pre-service geography teacher soft skills development. So I'm also thinking of another one in soft skills. Maybe a certificate in soft skills development or something like. So I'm thinking to maybe after when I'm done, I'll share the courses with you and to see if you can make a comment or approve it before I forward it to them. Okay, so we also have gender and climate issue, water resources, management and environment issues, leisure, farming practices, and climate change. Do you know that climate change is one of the things that is really raising a lot of money when you have proposals in that area? So with the new geography program I developed for the regular, they are going to do it as a course, climate change education as a course. They are going to do geography education and sustainable development. How we are using geography education to achieve sustainable development goals. You see, because the sustainable development, about 5 or 6 of them talks borders on geography. You see, so and the interest is that if you are able to develop interest and some proposals, you are easily able to get funding for some of these international partners and donors. Yes. So the climate change education is a UNESCO strategy or program to see how we can use education, the training and the knowledge of students to mitigate the climate crisis, climate change related crisis. So there are modules and those things which I'm sure that if you have that a certificate as part of your if you want to do any climate change I think and Professor Amakruchi, the EPA chief executive, is one of the people who are also in the area of climate change from University of Ghana, and she really do well. I know her, but you see, when people get into politics, I hardly get in touch with them. Though at times I WhatsApp her. Other than that, when you call them too much, they may think that you need favors. Is that also? Me too, I did my one corner. I think during the previous government time, I applied for this NACA work. But at the end of the day, when the selection came, I did not even see my name cry. But people that we know that they were strong, aligned to the party, yeah, they had their way. That's Ghana for you.
So I think favors are also part of life processing. We pray for favors. So when you get opportunity, just grab it. who knows, tomorrow to give you opportunity to also bring your vision to bear.
Oh yeah, that's when the favor and the opportunity is given to you. But in Ghana, they will tell you that it's not about whom you know, it's about who knows you.
Okay, yeah.
But you see, with God, all things are possible.
All things are possible. Yeah.
Always, my confidence and trust has been in God. If I look at my journey, where I started from, I will not allow myself for any man to denigrate. God will surely pick you. So when you are pushing through something, you are talking to people and it seems things are not working, people are disappointing you. Hey, get to know that, Charlie, that is not your appointed time. Hold on. Hold out and cry to God.
Right now.
One day when he emerges, they will say, hey, the way you are, free him. And that is the hand of the Lord. Why yes, I will crisscross cut corners at the end of the day. Will enjoy it, you don't feel it because people who help you cut corners, they are the same people who are going to expose and look down on you. So, Charlie, the Lord is in control. And what he has started, you fulfill it. Just hold on with him and keep on pressing on. Like what Paul said in Philippians. As of now, somebody may attest. As I press on towards the goal for higher calling. It's the next press on.
Amen.
So issues on leisure farming practices and climate change. And these are all issues that was raised when we had the Ghana Geographical Associations and Ghana Geography Teachers Association. When you see GGTA, it's a Ghana Geographical Teachers Association. Do you know that we have this association in Ghana, Ghana Geography Teachers Association? So make sure you join. If you are in the area of the subject, join and attend conferences. It's very good. Then we have the systems approach. This aspect treats the object of study as an entity with various interacting parts, influencing the whole entity in one way or the other. And we all know that in nature of yoga, we look at the system where we say these are very interrelated or various components which work together with a common goal. And the whole ultimate is to achieve a common purpose. So if you are talking about hydrological cycle, they have various parts like precipitation, input, sea flow, and all those dissipation and all those things, infiltration and all those component parts which work together to give the broad picture of hydrological cycle. And we all know a system can either be closed or open. And where the closed, they do not interact with the external environment, but the open exchanges both energy and masses with the external environment. So like, for example, a human being is an open system. Thermostat, spacecraft are all closed system because the moment they open themselves up, wahala don't come. Various content areas in geography are studied either as open or closed. So, for example, we have physical systems such as soil, geomorphic, biotic, climatic, and hydrological systems. These are all physical systems from physical geography or science. And we have human systems such as political, transport, commercial, industry, service, societal, and agriculture systems. So, for example, when talking about agriculture system, you can identify a component like Ministry of Food and Agriculture. You can identify the Farmers Association and the financial institutions who are into agriculture as component like ADB and other financial institutions. You can have NGOs who are into agriculture. You can have extension officers. All those are various component parts of an agriculture system, and they collectively play a role to give a better picture of agriculture as a system. Then we have ecosystem where we look at marine, polar deserts, wetland, mining, lumbering, grassland, rainforest as all part of this system. So these are all global perspectives so far as the geography is concerned. Any question up to this point? That's the end of the unit 1. Any question? Any question or contribution? Okay. So if there are no questions, let me see something. Okay. Where is it? Okay. It's 9:08 now. Let me see if I can add the unit 2 and quickly run away. Why, Amo, you are laughing? Because if I go out now, I can't come back for this class. So I'm in the room making sure that I have to finish this before I leave. Because where I'll be going is to be very noisy, see. So now I want to look at the next unit, which is talking about facilities, equipment, and materials for geography. So with that, we want to look at some of we all know all these facilities, equipment fall under teaching learning resources. Teaching learning resources. Now, according to UNESCO, teaching learning resources are materials and tools that support teachers in delivering knowledge and help students construct understanding through structured educational experience. So you see, if you want your learners to construct their own understanding, it is good to also bring in some resources, teaching learning resources to aid the students. Also, the World Bank defined teaching learning resources as key instructional inputs such as textbook, teacher guides, digital materials, and classroom equipment that enhance teaching effectiveness and improve learning outcomes. Then, Organization of Economic Okay, a minute. Okay, sorry. So then we have OECD 2020. They also conceptualize teaching and learning resources as educational tools and materials that create interactive learning environment, promote learner engagement, and support knowledge retention. So if you look at all the various definitions that have been given from these international agencies and scholars, you could see that teaching learning resources are very, very critical in ensuring that learners construct their own knowledge. So as a teacher, especially geography teacher, it is important that you have these resources at your disposal in order to help achieve that. Because if you look at the definition given by UNESCO, World Bank, and that of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, it tells you that you cannot go to the classroom as a teacher to deliver an effective lesson for students to understand without these resources. You see, and that is why I always reiterate that if we can achieve the standard-based curriculum, there is a need for us to have a thorough restructuring of our classrooms, resource facilities, recreational centers, labs, so that people can make sense of the new standard base that we are currently having. Now, let's look at some examples or categorizations of geographic equipment. And it has been categorized into the one we are talking about: observation and measurement equipment. Observation and measurement equipment. When we say observation and measurement equipment, we are looking at like weather station instruments. And these are basically used in physical geography, the various branches in the physical geography of field studies. So, example of these equipment that teachers can use, we have thermometer, which basically is used to measure the air temperature. And this helps students to do weather observation, climate studies, and also compare daily temperature variations, and which supports their understanding so far as the atmospheric conditions are concerned. So at times it's good that even if the school is not having, you can look for this meteorological or the Ghana Metro Agency and take your student there, let them have a feel of it and appreciate it, so that they can also make sense of the kind of temperatures they're experiencing within their area. You see, even UCC, we had one there, I think behind the senior member session club also. See, rain gauge, which is used for measuring rainfall amount. And it also helps to record precipitation in millimeters and essential for climatological and hydrological analysis or topics in that regard. We have an anemometer, which also used to measure the wind speed. And these all helps in doing meteorological observations to help explain wind systems and weather processes within an area. We also have barometer, which measures atmospheric pressure, and it is used to predict weather changes within an area or a region. It also helps to explain pressure belts and circulation within the atmosphere. Then we have compass, which is a direction finding instrument, which help us to identify north, south, east, and west in map reading and field investigation. And all these things helps to develop students' orientation when it comes to orientation skills. You know, remember when we're doing nature of geography, skills in geography, we talk about the spatial skills, where we talk about some of these things in there. Okay, Counselor, your hand is up.
Sir, please, in achieving the 21st century geography approach, the learner-centered one that we are talking about, the government prints or the LACA prints the textbooks for the teachers to use to facilitate the teaching. But look at simple materials like the anemometer, the compasses, and those things are hardly rich. And if you want to go to meteorological department, you take the students there for an observation. The district will direct you to write letter. You go for the bus that you are sending to the place, the driver's license, the number of students you are taking there, and then even the
Hey,
time that they will grant you the permission to go for this trip is discouraging. So we are planning, we want to learn the 21st century teaching practice and then teach the students, but the structure does not permit us to go through this things. So how do
yeah,
we go about it?
I
Because what you
perfectly,
are
ag-
saying
I
makes it
perfectly agree
very,
with
very
you.
simple.
I perfectly agree with you. You see, that's why I would have thought that if we are a country that we are very serious with our education system, there are some basic things that must be provided in our schools. Other than that, like you are saying, if these things are not available and these things are not things that you can improvise, you can't. That's why I'm saying that if we do not do things right in making sure that there is a corresponding infrastructure changes, recreational facilities, resource to make sure that the standard base is well delivered. Other than that, the worst case scenario, even if you are going to download the videos and show it to them, the question is that do your school even have a projector that you can project in your classroom? Interestingly, I went to one of the big secondary schools in Accra, Achimota Senior High, and one classroom that we went to do a teaching. Could you imagine that all the sockets were not working? All the sockets in the classroom was not working. So even if you want to project video, how can you? So the only improvisation you can do is to download some of these videos and how they operate and let them sit and watch it. That's the only improvisation you can do. And if you can, they have a lab, you can plead with the lab person and also use the lab and project it. You see, because at times it's very worrying situation. Some schools, they said they were having Wi-Fi for some time. Now the Wi-Fi is not even working anymore. So that we could have even use the Wi-Fi to download some of this information. But the question I always ask, why is that a private person is able to build a private school, provide all these logistics, and the whole government is not able to do that? I've been to Eden International at Ajirigan to do supervision. And this is a school by somebody who is a Ghanaian but lives in a state. And you will love it. The teachers are using an interactive whiteboard with screen touch and those things. The students have their tablets. When you are from upper primary going, you have your HP laptop where you do a flip classroom activity as well, extended version at home, and you are being monitored online. Can't government do so? A private person. Just this last year, I was at this school. It's at I've forgotten the name. As for Lincoln International, because it's a World Bank, so that one they can say it's a World Bank something. Araham is a Lebanese. Galaxy International, so those schools we can spare them. There's another one I've forgotten. Within the when you are going to from Hacho to a Achimota Enclave, there's a school that I've forgotten that school, I remember. So that is a problem, counselor. That's a problem. You see, you can do little. The only you can do is just to maybe get a video. If you have a projector, you project it to them, or other than that, pictures, which they will just at time when they have the real feel of it. It's increase their excitement and their joy and their interest than the pictures. But until these things are made available, we have to make do with what we have. So we can also talk of clinometer, which measures the slope angle or gradient in relief and landform studies. And this clinometer is very, very important when it comes to geomorphological analysis or surveying. Because we used to take, that's why if you want to build a house or a project, as part of the soil texture and the slope gradient, the clinometer is what we use to take the slope angle, the gradient of the area, to see the kind of high-rise buildings and the footings and those things you can put on the ground, the cracks, before you can build. Dry and wet bulbs, hydrometer for measuring humidity, wind vane, which measure the direction of the wind, and the sun recorder to measure the sunlight. All these are basic things that the government can supply for people to use. These things are not quite expensive, that if government is to commission, even certain firms in Ghana can produce this, you see. Then we have the visual or instructional aids. And here we are saying that this includes textbooks, and we know textbooks are most widely used printed matter. And we have what we call conventional textbook based on practical exercises, and textbooks combining the first two. So the conventional textbook, these are textbooks that deal with the theoretical informations, like textbooks you have. Then the other one based on practical, even though there are some textbooks which are purely for practical exercises. And there's one which has a combination of two. So I have the material I prepared. There's a detailed information note on them, which I cannot put all of them in the slides. It will end up becoming voluminous. Then the atlas is a teaching aid which should, besides that, all maps in it should be clear without excessive detail. And then atlas is also one of the good things that geographers need. Over the years, we've had a number of atlases, Maximilian, a number of them, Philip atlases, among others. And atlas can have various specializations. We can have vegetation maps, we can have economic maps atlas, we can have climatic. I think there was even one for Ghana. We were showing various relief, vegetation of Ghana and all those things. I don't know whether it's still in the system. Okay. So these specialized atlases are outstanding aids to the teacher and are used in class sometimes to aid. So by using a good atlas, students not only acquire new knowledge, but they also get the habit of individual, they use it for individual tasks as well. Then we have the terrestrial globes, and the globe, which is a representation of the earth. There's that representation of the earth are used frequently, especially whenever you are dealing with various concepts in geography at the junior high school level. You can use the globe even at the senior high school to make them understand the issues on the earth, on the globe. You can also help them understand the exaggerations and distortions that are found on maps by using the globe in your teaching, because the globe gives a number of details about the nature of the earth that you are on. As for globe, it's not expensive. You can even buy it yourself. We have maps. So a map is a graphic symbol which is a representation of features on the earth surface or part of the earth surface. So a map can be sketched, rough or freehand sketch, or accurately sketched to represent an image. And we all know that we have a large scale map and a small scale map. These are the two main types of maps. And you know that the small scale gives more detail as compared to the large scale. And we have examples include atlases, they are also maps, textbooks, wall maps, statistical maps, topographical maps, which all these examples, among others, are used in the study of geography. Then we can also talk of models, which is an image or a simplified representation of reality. And these are used to improve our understanding of phenomenon and events or occurrence around us. And take note, in every models, we have physical models and abstract models. The physical models are models of real world which have been scaled down. So example, when someone model Akosombo Dam, a model of Akosombo Dam can be a physical model. The abstract model, these are models which are in the form of laws, theories, hypotheses, and equations. So those mathematical equations that you have, which are used these days by geographers for analysis, those quantitative analysis and figures and those things, they are all abstract models. So you can use any of these to also help learners understand certain concepts in geography. Then we have specimen collections. So we can have rock and mineral specimen where you can samples of rocks, minerals that you can use to show your learners to get understanding. You can also have a sketch of maps, a collection of maps within a map chest, where you can have various types of maps that you can, in a map chest that you can use to show to your learners, beach relief maps, that's a collection of sketch maps. And then we can have collection of pictures. And all these have this. When you have the material, there are detailed explanation of all these things in the material. Then we have graphs, which are used to illustrate relations among quantities. And in geography, some of the most popularly used are line graphs, bar graphs, like simple line graph, composite line graph, simple bar graphs, histogram, pie chart are all examples of graphs that are also used in geography to depict informations or certain things that geographers must know. We also have photographs. Photographs so we are looking at as all resources or equipment that are used in teaching. So photographs are basically image of an object, person, event, or scenes in the form of a print or slides recorded by a camera. And examples of these photographs include, you can have this remote sensing images, aerial photographs, and these are all useful for geographical analysis or fieldwork activities among others. So you can also use photographs like maps when you are unable to get to the field of an area to do your geographic studies as well. And it can also help you achieve the same thing. Like Counselor was saying, these days, getting students to the field, the stress you go through at times becomes problems. You can also have area photographs. And most of these area photographs are mostly taken either using drones, remote sensing, other images that have been captured with area satellites and all those things. And these area photographs also serve as a very useful substitute for fieldwork, especially where if you cannot get direct contact with the fieldwork, area photographs can take those images for you to use it for your analysis in the area that you are. Then we have charts. And a chart is a combination of pictorial, graphics, and numerical or vertical materials, which present a clear visual summary of what you want to present. And some of the examples include, we have narrative charts, tabulation charts, pedigree charts, classification charts, organizational charts, and flow charts. And these are all examples of charts that can be used, which the material, when you have their detailed explanation of each of these charts in there. Then we have videos, motion visuals, and audio materials, which demonstrate dynamic processes like erosion, volcanicity, and increases student engagement and retention. So these are mostly, see, for example, when you have a picture of how volcanic video showing the volcanic eruption, this is a physical example of pictures that, especially in this 21st learners, when you use them, it helps them a lot to understand. You see, when they watch these motion pictures and those, it helps them a lot. It helps them a lot. See, maybe one day I have to send you one of the courses I teach at Presby University, elements of physical geography, and one of the topics like rotation, evolution and rotation. I had about 3 videos in that slide. And by the time you watch the video, the topic is almost 70% done. I'm teaching some policemen who are doing geography courses. And they told me they have never done geography before. And I sent them the slides with the videos to them to read and watch. And the day we were doing the discussion, we could not even exhaust the 2 hours. I was able to finish the whole unit. I was like, hey, is it that you are not getting the thing, or is it that you understand? Because they say you have not done, so I took it the way that you should. Oh, they said the videos and those things they watched did the explanation. So when you added it, we are good to go. So these are things that is helping the learners to catch the glimpse of it, which you can also take advantage of these things to help your learners achieve the best out of some of these things. Then we have Sanstray, which is a tool that is mostly used at the junior primary level, especially when they are doing a model or they are making any form of land relief or cartographic art. The sand thrower, it just looks like a small shovel type with the image that are used for primary level activities. That's why it is used mainly to introduce to people's ground plans, elementary cartography, and the forms of land relief. So these are all equipment, resources that teachers you have at your disposal that you can utilize them to help learners understand the various concepts done. Then we can also talk of fieldwork equipment. Fieldwork equipment, which include field notes. Every fieldwork must have a field note. So booklet for recording observation in field data collection, it encourages systematic recordings. Then we have cameras. Every field at least must have cameras. Now some of you have your phones, you can use them. So these are devices for capturing images, videos in documenting field observation. And this supports evidence-based learning. Then we have measuring tape, which measures the distance or length in field measurements, which build quantitative skills of learners. Then you can also have soil sampling kits. They are tools for collecting soil samples in soil analysis, and it is important for environmental geographical studies. So these are all fieldwork equipment that you can also address yourself with as a geography teacher. Then the last bit we want to touch on is the modern geospatial and digital technologies. Modern geospatial and digital. Don't forget that the standard base, you see that at the point they were talking about geospatial, digital technologies. And so I thought it wise that as a geography, you should be exposed to some of these resources. So one of the modern geospatial and geotechnological, we have geographic information system, GIS. And this is a computer system for storing, analyzing, and displaying spatial data. And it can be used for mapping, spatial analysis, patterns detection in urban growth, population distributions, among others. Then we have the global positioning system. Well, we have GPS satellite, which satellite-based navigation system, and what we call GPS. So a lot of you have GPS on your phone, and they are basically a navigation satellite-based system. It determines the exact location by using the coordinates in a field mapping exercise for modern fieldwork. Apart from that, when you are doing any field investigation, you can also take the coordinate of the field by using GPS device. And the ones on your phone that also takes you to certain location can also is another example of GPS device. We have computers and tablets. These are also digital devices for processing GIS, research, digital maps, information. And these support modern geographic learning. We have projector, which display digital content like maps, images, satellite views on screen to enhance visual instructions. See, so at least for nothing at all. Last time I was saying that I think if it's not your group, it will be a different group. That couldn't the government at least could have provided at least every school, you at least one projector, one laptop, at least, if not at all. If you cannot provide 2 projectors, 2 laptops, so that every school can have access. So that this standard way you are saying they should go to the net, do research, download videos. What should they project with? Should they use their phones? Unfortunately, the laptop, the TM laptops they gave them, a lot of them is not even functioning well. I don't know, those of you who had some, I don't know whether yours is working. The TM laptop that was given by the previous government. Or you didn't get some?
So they are not working. No, they are not working.
You see, we need to sit up and do something about education system to make it work and stop pretending that we are doing something about education system. Meanwhile, we are all pretending. See, then we have interactive whiteboard. They don't have HDMI. Look at this. In this 21st century, you go and buy a laptop which do not have HDMI slot. Then why do you buy it in first place? Interactive whiteboard. These are touch-sensitive digital board that allows teachers to display multi-dimensional content, interact with it in a real time, and engage students with interactive lessons, and even map orientations and map other videos showing. By now, we should have interactive boards in our schools. You see, the truth of the matter is that if we want to do it, we can do it. And the interesting thing in this area is that we have a lot of international partners who are ready to donate and support and the funds we had. So yeah. Okay, Charlie. They just called me down that they need me. So let me see if I can wrap up. Then we have remote sensing imagery. These are satellite or area images of the Earth, and it is used in environmental monitoring, land use analysis, and teachers' real-world observation. We have drones, that is unmanned area vehicles that captures area photos, videos, and provide detailed local spatial data. And we know drones, so television, as we all know, we can have televisions to also project some of these things. Then learning management system, these are platforms such as Moodle, Google Classroom, Canvas, and provides an organized space for teachers to share resources, assign tasks, and track students' platform. So a number of private schools have signed to some of these MLS platforms, including universities. And these platforms are very essential, especially for online and blended learning approach. We also have virtual reality and augmented reality. And these virtual reality can transport students to ancient civilizations to look at what has happened over the years. And augmented reality can also bring 3D models to life, enabling students to explore topics that they have never seen or heard before. And these are all modern technologies that can be used. And these virtual realities promote 21st century geographic competencies, including spatial analysis and geotechnological literacy. That is according to Lambert and Morgan. And the last one is the environment. As a geographer, the environment is our laboratory. So the environment also serves as a useful tool for teaching and learning geography. It includes, you can use the school, community, district, region, or the country in which it is situated. Trips can be organized to places of civic, cultural history, economic, and scientific importance and interest. So these are a number of equipment, resources that can be used in the area of geography. Any question up to this point? Any question? Okay. Then I will end it here so that I have to quickly rush to the ground for the tribute reading. Because the church is in cancer people, you know, they like play singing with that hook. I'm sorry if there's any cancer person here, forgive me. They like singing. So we'll continue tomorrow with the methods of teaching. Why?
Sir,
All right, sir.
Mm.
Very
Yes,
much,
please.
sir.
So let me
sir, please,
share the slides with Stephen so that he can forward it to you.
okay. Um, please, colleagues, I have something to tell you. I have an information for you. So please, I have shared a link. This link is being recorded by code. I have shared a link. So please, let's all join that link. It will take less than 10 minutes, please. Please, let's join the link. It is on the platform. I've shared the link. So let's all join that link for the information, please. I beg you. Let's join it because it will help all of us. Please. It is on the platform. Please.
Normally,